What's going on, everyone? How are we all doing? Hope you're all enjoying the sunshine. But obviously sunshine goes up, work requests come down. Everyone seems to be feeling it at the moment. A few people have been jumping in the comments over the last couple of weeks that the work's really dipped off. Don't worry, it will pick up again. I think April is always a lull, especially around the Easter period. I said this before on a couple of videos. But yeah, it should start to pick up again. If not, we're in for a very long summer. April to like October. But nah, it will pick up again. And if not, I hope you've all got like contingency plans or something else. But again, if not, jump in the comments, talk about it, and other people can share what they do, how they get through the summers, and you know, you might pick something up or you might help someone, either or either. Topics of discussion for this week. One, make sure you watch to the end of the video because something happened which was really bad but really lucky and should give you all a bit of a laugh. So yeah, make sure you watch till the end, and we are going to be talking about at some point in this video, maybe in the middle, maybe at the end as well, both partners being self-employed or like businesses, you know, basically one partner not being employed, both partners being self-employed. I don't know where I was going with that, but yeah, both partners being self-employed and all of the pitfalls around that. And yeah, let's jump into these videos. Couple good ones, actually, couple good ones. So this job I'm in is a leak from radiator pipe. I'll show you. So thankfully the customer got all the boards up and everything all ready for my arrival, but he said he tightened up. I thought it was coming from there, but it doesn't seem to be. And then if I look here, you can see, let's out of focus a bit, under there. Now the question is that bottom pipe pinholed or is it coming from the top bit? So in all honesty, I'd rather not fill the system. He's drained a bit of the system out. I'd rather not fill it up again and then have to drain it again to solder it. So I'm just going to replace both bits. I'm going to just elbow that down and just whack a new T in there. So there we are, 2 new bits done. Obviously you didn't see all of it and you didn't see a lot of the prep work because everyone will just slate my soldering and whatnot. So just seeing it sped up a little bit. But time to refill the system and away we go. So there you have it. Time gone by, I would not have turned up at that job and done that there and then. Soldering anything would have been a good, like, I need to prepare for a couple of days. So I'm quite proud of myself now where I've come or how far I've come, in that I will just get on with those kind of things now. Obviously, solder is not the neatest. I'm not a touch solderer. If you are, I commend you. I am not. I have tried. I obviously need to practice more, But yeah, hope you enjoyed it anyway. And this next one is a real interesting one, I think, anyway, because this is a valve that probably a lot of people would never have even seen before. And yeah, there's a little bit of a difference, but I go through it all pretty much start to finish, so it should hopefully be helpful. So here lies a potentially interesting diagnosis job. The customer has no heating, no hot water. They've been told it's the Freeport, but this is what we got. It is not your conventional kind of Freeport. It's an old Switchmaster manual valve. So in my understanding, that wire coming out is just a switch, like a micro switch. And obviously then if it does happen to be the Freeport, you're going to need to change pipework configuration. So I guess B would be coming out of there, A coming to the heating. But the customer also said that this was ticking. So I'm going to turn it on, see what we can find. But yeah, potentially if it is the Freeport, could end up in like a partial rewire. But I don't know, let's have a look. I'm going to jump in there, have a look first, and then show you what I find. Right, so that shouldn't be ticking. There's no relays in there. It's just a standard wiring center. So I wonder whether it was that was ticking. It smells, when I put my head in this cupboard, it just stinks of burning. So let's go turn it on and figure out how this works. Not come across one of these systems in a long time. Don't even know if I've ever actually seen one of these valves. You used to see the old servo valves which had the lever on it, but I don't know that I've seen one of them specifically, but we will figure it out. Right, so I've figured out nothing's on downstairs. This is live and this is live, and obviously they're linking together. So the only wire that's live is this or this, and they both come from downstairs. They're both running the same core of grey, brown, yellow, and earth and neutral, grey, brown, yellow, earth and neutral. That's coming from downstairs. That's going to be the pump overrun. This one, so that white has got to be a permanent live, because that is going into this valve. So that's going to be a permanent live.
A few moments later.
Right, from the looks of it, I think I've figured it out. Red is switch live to the pump and boiler. Orange is hot water on. White is hot water off, which is why that's currently live now when there's no demand. Yellow is heating on, and obviously blue and earth is neutral and earth. So actually, I'm hoping it should just be Freeport change and not have to do a rewire. Probably be a little bit of pipe work, reconfiguration there to make that suit. And yeah, that should be it. Actually, I might chuck up here or there somewhere like a little table, if I can put one together, of what these wires are. So I've just put hot water on. I've been playing with that as well, because it was clicking like the lady said, but I just put the hot water on. And so I've got power at my orange, which is hot water on. I did before I was messing with that. I had power at the orange, just trust me. But nothing at the red, which is a switch live. And I can't now turn that round. Oh, look, it's turning by itself. I don't know what I did. But initially that was down in the central heating and hot water position, down there. And it was like going clunk, clunk, clunk. And I tried to turn it just to see if I could make any difference. Yeah, it was doing that kind of clicking. But it made no difference. And now actually I'm not getting power at the hot water on. So I would say it's safe to say that this valve is what's causing... Oh yeah, see, I've got my 240 there. but nothing on the switch live, or not enough to bring the boiler on. Enough to bring the pump on though, interestingly. Maybe the boiler is on. I'll go and check in a sec. So it seems like I've got that figured out. Yeah, think so. I'm hoping it's just going to be a case of swapping out the 3-port body. Even that might not need any pipework alteration, but it might need a little bit of tweaking. And I've figured out the wiring situation and where that's all going to go, I think. I've told the customer there's like a good scenario, which is that, and a bad scenario, which she needs like a new wireless programmable thermostat, and I can rewire the system with that, not have to run any other cables, and just use the boiler wire and the pump overrun wire. And she's happy with that solution. Obviously she's hoping for the cheaper scenario, as am I, because I'm just not in the mood to do all that right now. But yeah, I think that's all covered. Does that make sense? Right, there we have it. So that is going to be replaced and hopefully shouldn't be too bad. I put up in that last segment where the wires will be converted to, and it's really weird actually, because when I looked up that valve initially, I've seen some old valves. I've never actually seen this specific Switchmaster valve. I have seen Switchmaster valves, not this specific one. But when I looked it up, it said there was just like a on-off micro switch in there basically, which is why I was even more flapping about the wiring. But luckily, I think it'd be almost similar to like changing it for a Danfoss or something, where you got completely different wires. But yeah, bring that system up to spec. I'm hoping that it is going to be the easier option, and that's that. Now let's jump into my topic of discussion for the week. And again, please do jump in the comments. I'd love to get people's input on this and see where they land with it, if they've been in this situation, if they've avoided this situation even, and why. So both partners being self-employed. I am obviously self-employed, have been for the last 5 years. Prior to that, I was always employed on a salary. So now my wife has the opportunity to set up her own business. And the biggest thing about it is it could be slightly risky, because she's great at what she does. The job she's currently in, she's very comfortable there. She's very well thought of there. She's got great benefits there. So there is a massive argument for why upset the apple cart? Why do that? So we get that. We're going to park that to one side for a minute. Now, the things that obviously chuck up some questions are the security of both partners being self-employed. If for whatever reason both your businesses start to dip off, then that's a real worry. Obviously, if one is employed, then you've constantly got that, although less than what you're used to, you've constantly got that income coming in still to pick up that shortfall. So yeah, that's the question really. Is anyone got both partners self-employed? Or has anyone done it? Did it go well? Did it not go well? What's the situation? If it works how it should work, then it will be great for her. And I say she's incredible at what she does, so it would be a bit of a no-brainer. But there's always that thing of what if, or what if just one of us? Like it's just different when you're self-employed, isn't it? So I think that makes sense what I'm saying. But tell me what you've had going on with it. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. Don't forget to hype. And watch this next bit. It should give some people a laugh anyway. I'm able to laugh about it after, but not at the time. I was very stressed at the time. But anyway, yeah, jump in the comments. Let me know your situation about self-employment and those kind of things. And yeah, see you next week. So guess who just done a tip run and had to get a step ladder and climb through there to look for their wedding ring that fell off, putting one of the bags in and fell in with it, but we found it. Yeah, now I can see the funny side in it, or not really funny side, but I can be thankful for the lucky side of it. But that was very, very stressful at the time. Also, they said that those bins weren't theirs, so I asked them to open the doors. They said, no, we can't. And part of me thought, I think you're like, if I didn't want to tell them what it was, because I thought if they can open the doors, they're going to be straight in there themselves, the people that work there, which I get. Yeah, it's very stressful, very worrying. Obviously, on top of it, the price, like the sentimentality of it. Yeah, not a good time. But I can see the funny side of it now. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share, hype. Come back next week. Got some more fun things coming. And yeah, it's hopefully panning out to be a decent year. See you next week.